Hey, Coach. Are you ready to unlock some serious coaching superpowers?
Oh,
Today, we are diving deep into this awesome NLP guide. It's like a cheat sheet for leveling up your impact, attracting those dream clients,
yeah.
and, building a business that you actually love.
Sounds pretty amazing. NLP, Neuro-Linguistic Programming.
Yeah.
It's a powerful toolkit for understanding how our minds work and how to use that to make positive changes. And get this, it's not just for coaches. Top athletes, Fortune 500 CEOs, they're all tapping into the power of NLP.
You know what really stood out to me right away? This whole NLP perspective on failure.
Oh yeah, tell me about it.
It's not the end of the world. It's valuable feedback.
It's like that growth mindset. You embrace the challenges and see the learning in every experience.
Totally. And this guide, it really dives into the mind-body connection for coaches.
Super important, right? But, sometimes we forget how much our thoughts and emotions can really impact our physical reactions.
Wait, really? Can you give me an example of what you mean?
Sure. So picture this. You're about to give a big presentation. You start feeling nervous. Heart's racing, palms are sweaty.
Right. Oh, yeah, I've been there.
These physical reactions, they're triggered by your thoughts and emotions. And they can totally change how you come across to your audience. Now think about that in a coaching session. If you're stressed or anxious, even a little bit, it can subtly influence your client's experience.
Wow, that makes a lot of sense. I never thought about it like that.
Yeah.
So how can we use this mind-body connection to our advantage as coaches?
Self-awareness is key. The more you get how your inner state impacts your outer presence, the better you can manage it. Things like mindfulness, breathing exercises, even just paying attention to your posture. It can make a world of difference in creating a positive space for clients.
So it's like we're setting the stage for transformation by regulating our own energy first.
Exactly. And speaking of attracting clients, there's this fascinating concept in NLP called representational systems.
Oh, yeah, I remember that from the guide. It's all about communication styles.
Right? You got it. It's the idea that people process information differently. Some are visual, some are auditory, and some are kinesthetic. Knowing your client's preference can revolutionize the way you communicate with them.
So how can we figure out someone's preferred representational system?
Pay attention to their language, your behavior. For example, a visual person might say, "I see what you mean," or "Let's get a clear picture of this." They might be drawn to visual aids and metaphors.
And an auditory person might say, "That sounds good to me," or "I hear you."
Exactly. And kinesthetic folks, they use language related to feelings and sensations like, "I have a gut feeling about this," or "Let's get a handle on this problem."
I'm seeing how powerful this could be in coaching. If you can tailor your language to match their preference, it makes the whole process so much more effective.
Right. It creates a much deeper level of rapport and understanding. It's like you're speaking their language in a way that truly resonates.
Mind-blowing.
Okay.
Now let's talk about procrastination. I think a lot of coaches struggle with this, myself included.
It's a common challenge for both coaches and clients. NLP offers some great tools for overcoming it and tapping into that lasting motivation.
What kind of tools?
One of the most effective is anchoring. Have you heard of that?
Anchoring? Not really. Fill me in.
Think of it as a trigger that instantly evokes a state you want, like a shortcut in your brain to access confidence, motivation, focus whenever you need them. The guide gives this great example of a sales rep who is always putting off her reports.
Procrastination nation.
Right. But it turned out she had this hidden resentment towards her old admin assistant who used to handle the reports.
Interesting. So it was an emotional block that was holding her back.
Exactly. And once she uncovered that block using NLP techniques, she was able to move forward and get those reports done. No problem. It's a good reminder that sometimes procrastination isn't about laziness. It's about deeper emotional patterns.
Fascinating. So we're not just teaching clients about goals and time management. We're also helping them identify and overcome those hidden emotional barriers.
Absolutely. We're helping them access their full potential on all levels.
I love it. Okay. So we're managing our state-attracting clients and helping them beat procrastination. What else does this NLP guide have for us?
Confidence. One of the most important qualities for any coach.
Right.
It's the foundation of your credibility, your ability to inspire your clients. And this guide actually pulls insights from Navy SEAL training.
Wow, Navy SEALs. That's intense.
Right. It emphasizes the power of developing an inner knowing that you are capable. Even if you're not jumping out of airplanes, the principles still apply. It's about cultivating that unshakable belief in yourself and in your ability to help your clients create breakthroughs.
I love that. But what about those times when that inner critic creeps in? You know, that voice that says you're not good enough or that you're going to fail. How do we deal with that?
The guide has a strategy. Interrupt it. Don't just acknowledge it. Actively challenge and transform those limiting beliefs. One technique, create a victory list of past successes.
Oh, I like that. A highlight reel of awesomeness.
Exactly. The more you focus on your wins, the more confident and empowered you'll feel as a coach.
This is so inspiring. Okay, so we're managing our state-building confidence and attracting clients. What's next?
Let's get real. Coaching can be demanding. How do we stay balanced and effective amidst all the challenges?
That's the million-dollar question.
Stress management. The guide is big on self-care for coaches. It talks about the fight-or-flight response and offers a technique called 9/11 panic management.
9/11 panic management sounds intense. What is that?
It's actually pretty simple. Conscious breathing and shifting your posture. You interrupt the stress response by consciously regulating your breath and body.
That's a great tip. I'm going to try that.
I encourage you to. And in addition to quick fixes like that, the guide highlights the value of regular practices, like meditation.
Meditation. I've heard about it, but I've never really tried it. How can it help coaches?
It's amazing for calming the mind and building self-awareness. Remember how important that is for effective coaching. It's about observing your thoughts without judgment, detaching from negative patterns, creating more space for clarity and presence.
I can see how that would be beneficial in a profession where we're constantly holding space for other people's emotions.
Exactly. It's like your own internal sanctuary to recharge and reconnect with your inner wisdom.
Okay, so we're taking care of ourselves, managing stress, building confidence. What other gems does this NLP guide have?
Ready to go even deeper?
Bring it on.
The guide dives into self-concept and how it shapes our experiences as coaches. It's the story we tell ourselves about who we are, the beliefs, values, perceptions we hold. And it encourages coaches to challenge limiting beliefs by reframing counterexamples as learning experiences.
So see, I told you I wasn't good at that. It's, okay, this is an opportunity to learn and grow.
Exactly. You rewrite the narrative. The guide shares a great example of a social worker named Denise. She wanted to be more energetic, so she intentionally expanded her self-concept to include energetic. And guess what? It created positive ripple effects in other areas of her life.
That's amazing. So one positive shift in self-perception can unlock a chain of positive changes?
Absolutely. It's not just about changing behaviors. It's about transforming how we see ourselves.
So we're managing our state-building confidence and rewriting our self-concept. What's next on this NLP journey?
Building rapport connection is the heart of coaching. The guide explores empathy, especially for coaches who are naturally empathetic.
I can relate to that.
It also stresses the importance of balancing empathy with healthy boundaries.
You don't want to lose yourself in your client's emotions.
Right. It's about being present with their experience without getting swept away. And the guide mentions some techniques for building rapport, like mirroring and matching.
Mirroring and matching. Isn't that subtly mirroring your client's body language?
Yes. They can involve things like posture gestures, even tone of voice. The key is to be subtle and authentic. Don't force it.
So it's about creating an unconscious connection, not mimicking their every move.
Exactly. The guide has this anecdote about a back-to-back conversation exercise where participants unconsciously mirrored each other's posture without realizing it. It shows how we naturally synchronize with people we feel connected to.
That's really cool. So building rapport is a mix of empathy, healthy boundaries, and a bit of unconscious mirroring.
Precisely. Speaking of communication, let's talk nonverbal cues.
Nonverbal communication?
Yeah.
You mean like body language?
Yes. Get this. Up to 93% of communication is nonverbal.
93%. Wow.
Yeah.
So our words only convey a small part of the message.
Exactly. And as coaches, we need to be tuned in to those nonverbal signals. The guide offers tips for reading body language, tone of voice, even things like pauses and laughter.
So it's about observing our clients' nonverbal cues and being mindful of the messages we're sending with our own body language.
Exactly. It's about becoming a master communicator on all levels.
This NLP rabbit hole is fascinating. I'm excited about the possibilities for myself and my clients.
That's great. And there's so much more to explore. Are you ready to unlock the power of asking powerful questions?
Absolutely. Bring it on.
The NLP meta model is a game changer for coaches.
The meta model. Tell me more. What is it and how does it work?
It's a framework for asking questions that gather missing information and clarify client communication. You go beyond the surface of what your client is saying and uncover the deeper meanings and beliefs that are driving their behavior.
So instead of, I had a bad day, We use the meta model to find out the specifics of what made it a bad day.
Exactly. You help your clients get crystal clear about their thoughts, feelings, and experiences so they can start making real, lasting changes.
It's like they become detectives of their own minds.
Love that. Empowering your clients to understand themselves on a deeper level so they can take charge and create the results they want.
This is incredible. Okay, so we're managing our state-building confidence, attracting clients, and using the meta model. What else is in this guide?
Let's talk about time orientation, how it can impact coaching. Have you noticed that some people are very in time, present in the moment, and others are through time, seeing past, present, and future all at once?
That's an interesting observation. I can see how those different orientations could influence coaching.
Right. Someone who's in time might need different support than someone who's more through time. It's important to be aware of these differences so we can adapt our approach.
It's like speaking different languages of time.
Exactly. And speaking of different approaches, let's touch on meta-programs.
Meta-programs, what are those?
They're patterns of thinking and behavior that influence how we see the world. Like, some people are motivated by moving towards pleasure, while others are motivated by avoiding pain.
So it's like a set of filters that shape our perception and actions.
Precisely. And understanding our clients' meta-programs helps us tailor our coaching strategies.
This is getting really nuanced. It's like peeling back the layers of the human experience.
The more we understand these patterns, the better equipped we are to help our clients create lasting change.
Now, I'm really intrigued by the section on reframing and metaphors. Can you tell me more about those?
Reframing is all about shifting perspectives, creating new possibilities. It's about looking at a situation from a different angle and finding a more empowering interpretation.
Yes. The example from the guide about the coach using a metaphor to help his daughter, it really resonated with me. How do metaphors work on the unconscious mind?
They're sneaky. They bypass our conscious resistance and speak directly to our unconscious, allowing us to explore complex ideas and emotions safely and indirectly.
I could see how using metaphors in coaching could be incredibly powerful.
Exactly. And this leads us to conflict resolution and negotiation, essential skills for coaches.
Definitely. An area where I think a lot of coaches could use some extra guidance.
The guide emphasizes separating people from the problem. Don't make it personal. Focus on the issue and find a solution that works for everyone.
So finding a win-win. But what about when emotions are running high and it's hard to stay objective?
That's where understanding meta-outcomes comes in. You figure out what each person truly wants to achieve, and often you can unlock those seemingly impossible conflicts. The guide uses this example of Susan and Glenn to show how it works.
So it's not about avoiding conflict. It's about approaching it with new skills and perspectives.
And sometimes the most surprising approaches are the most effective, like apologizing to a difficult person.
Wait, apologizing to a difficult person? That sounds counterintuitive. But I'm curious to hear more about how it works.
We'll dive into that in the next part of our deep dive.
Apologizing to a difficult person. That's a bold strategy. I have to admit, I'm a little skeptical. But tell me more. How does that actually work?
It's about shifting the focus.
Yeah.
It's not about blame anymore. It's about understanding. You're offering empathy, which can often disarm the other person. And then you can have a more productive conversation.
I see. So it's not about giving in. It's about changing the energy of the interaction.
Exactly. And it takes some serious emotional intelligence to pull it off effectively, but when you do it right, it's powerful. It's like you're taking the higher ground and inviting them to come up with you.
This NLP stuff is really making me rethink how I communicate, both personally and professionally. It's amazing what we can achieve when we really understand the nuances of language and behavior. But it's not just about techniques, right? It's about a whole philosophy of empowerment and transformation.
You're getting it. NLP isn't just a toolbox. It's a way of being. It's about recognizing our power to create our own reality through our thoughts, beliefs, actions. And as coaches, we get to guide our clients on that journey of self-discovery.
That's a pretty amazing privilege. And this guide, it really highlights how being a coach is an ongoing journey of learning growth and self-discovery. It's not about reaching some endpoint. It's about constantly evolving and expanding our capacity to help others.
I couldn't agree more. The more we invest in our own growth, the more effective we become as coaches. It's like a ripple effect, our own transformation. It inspires and empowers our clients to transform their own lives.
Love that analogy.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about NLP, the mind-body connection strategies for attracting clients and building rapport.
We've covered techniques for managing stress, overcoming procrastination, building confidence and resilience.
We even explored nonverbal communication and asking powerful questions.
And of course, dealing with those difficult people.
It's been a pretty comprehensive exploration of the coaching journey. And I feel like I've learned so much that I can apply in my practice right away.
That's great to hear. And you know what I think the most impactful part of this guide is the emphasis on self-belief. When we believe in ourselves as coaches, we can empower our clients to reach their goals.
It's like our own self-belief becomes a magnet. It attracts success and empowers our clients to step into their own greatness.
That's a great way to put it. And it starts with understanding our own minds and having the tools to create positive change within ourselves and in our interactions with others.
This has been so inspiring. I'm excited to try out some of these NLP techniques. How about you? What's resonating with you the most?
The power of reframing. It's such a simple but powerful tool for shifting perspectives, finding new solutions. Reminds us that there's always another way to look at things.
It's like putting on a new pair of glasses and seeing the world in a whole new light.
Exactly. And it's a great reminder for coaches and clients. Sometimes all you need is a fresh perspective.
What else stood out to you?
Representational systems. I've never thought about communication that way before. I'm excited to start noticing those preferences in myself and my clients.
It's like unlocking a secret code for communication.
Yeah.
And it connects to mirroring and matching. When we tune into those subtle cues, we can create a deeper connection, build trust more effectively.
It's all about creating that resonance and understanding that allows for deeper transformation.
Okay. So we've been geeking out about reframing and how it can totally shift someone's perspective.
Yeah.
But how do we actually put this into practice in our coaching?
Awareness is key. Notice the stories your clients are telling themselves, the language they use. Are they framing things in a way that's empowering, or are they limiting themselves?
It's like becoming a language detective.
Right.
And once we spot those limiting beliefs, how do we help them reframe?
One way is to challenge the evidence. Ask them, what proof do you have for that belief? Often they'll realize their beliefs are based on old assumptions or distorted perceptions.
And then we can help them find new evidence that supports a more empowering belief. It's like helping them rewrite their inner story.
Exactly. And remember the meta model, powerful tool. Asking those specific questions can help clients deconstruct their limiting beliefs and uncover the hidden meanings in their language.
Can you give me an example of how that plays out in a coaching session?
Okay. Let's say your client says, I'm just not good at marketing.
Oof, I've heard that one.
A meta model question could be, what specifically makes you say you're not good at marketing? That question. It pushes them to explore the specifics of their belief and uncover the experiences that led them to that conclusion.
Instead of just accepting that statement,
Right.
we're digging deeper.
Right. Exactly. By asking those kinds of questions, we help them challenge those limiting beliefs and open up to new possibilities.
It's like we're shining a light on those hidden stories and giving them the power to choose a different one.
That's the power of coaching. And speaking of stories, this guide talks about using metaphors in coaching. They're so effective because they can bypass our conscious resistance and speak directly to the unconscious mind.
Like you said, little Trojan horses of wisdom. How would you use a metaphor in a session? Give me an example.
Let's say your client feels stuck in their career. You could use the metaphor of a garden. Imagine your career as a garden. What seeds are you planting? What kind of environment are you creating for them to grow? That metaphor, it gets them thinking about their career in a new way and considering the choices they're making that are either helping or hindering their growth.
I like that. It's like using storytelling to create a shift in perspective and open up those possibilities. And what about time orientation? Can you refresh my memory on that concept?
Sure. It's about how people relate to time. Some are very in time, totally present in the moment. Others are through time, seeing past, present, and future all at once.
Right. Some live in the flow and others have that panoramic view.
Exactly. And as coaches, we need to be aware of these different orientations so we can adjust our approach. Someone who's in time might need different support than someone who's more through time.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Meeting our clients where they are in their relationship with time. And how about meta programs? Remind me how those can help in coaching.
Think of them as patterns of thinking and behavior, They shape how we see the world. Like some people are motivated by moving towards pleasure while others are driven by avoiding pain. Some are detail-oriented, others big picture thinkers.
It's like those filters that shape how we see things and how we act.
Exactly. And by understanding those meta programs, we can tailor our coaching to be more effective.
No one-size-fits-all approach.
Right.
The more we understand our clients' unique wiring, the better we can support them.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Wow. This has been such an incredible deep dive into NLP for coaches. I feel like I've gained so much knowledge and practical strategies.
That's awesome. And for me, it's that reminder that NLP is more than just techniques. It's a whole philosophy. It's about empowering people to reach their full potential. And we as coaches, we get to guide them on that journey.
Such a powerful and rewarding calling, and I hope this deep dive has inspired our listeners to explore NLP and discover the impact it can have on their coaching and their lives.
Couldn't agree more. Thanks for joining us on this journey, Coach. Keep diving deep, keep learning, and keep shining bright.
Until next time.